everything that you know about happiness is wrong. This culture has you chasing happiness like a junkie looking for the next hit. But studies have shown that, it doesn't matter if you are a king or a slave. Your happiness level will always drop back to a baseline. So it really is. It's sort of like a junkie that's chasing the dragon. They're always trying to reach that biggest high, the next peak, but you'll never actually get there. So happiness is something that is thought about in the completely wrong way in this culture. People are looking for this constantly. And it doesn't matter how much success you may have or how much money that you may have. Famous celebrities, people who are rich always talk about how, they are still incredibly depressed and how they aren't happy. So what's going on? We have a big problem here, and the big problem is that happiness is looked at and not understood in the right way. There is a type of philosophy called utilitarianism, and utilitarianism was propagated by philosophers such as Jeremy Bentham and John Stuart Mill. And basically what utilitarianism says is that the maximization of happiness should be the goal and the behavior of the citizens and the society. So basically, everyone should be seeking to maximize their happiness. That's what utilitarianism says. And this is the worst thing that you could possibly do. And this is a huge problem in the world today. If people are just trying to maximize their happiness level with no other reason guiding it and underlying it, then you're going to have this very capitalistic sort of mindset, which is just watch Netflix, eat junk food, fuck, buy things. The more stuff you buy, the more money you have, the happier you'll be. And this contributes to this toxic culture that we have that's all about, trying to chase money, trying to chase material items. And I want you to really think about this and look how vacuous and empty it is. Look how hollow this is. TV, junk food, buying things, fame. This is all so empty. There's nothing to it. So why do you think that would give you true happiness and true satisfaction? It's because people aren't looking at it in the right way. Again, it's like a junkie looking for that next hit, that next high. But it's not lasting. It's fake. It's false. It's a fraud. Just like taking a drug. There's no reason behind the happiness flood that you're getting. It's just because you're manipulating the chemicals. And so if you think about it in that way, what triggers that chemical release, that feeling of happiness? Well, it's supposed to be a reward for something. You see, it's supposed to be giving you a reward for something, for an achievement or something like that, something that you have acquired. But people don't want, they skip over the achievement part and they just want the reward. But guess what? If you just go for that reward, it's going to be, it's fake. It's a false happiness. It's empty. It's vacuous. So we need to completely re-examine how happiness is defined and how it's looked at. And the main key to understand is that happiness is not an end unto itself. Happiness is not a goal. Happiness is a byproduct. Happiness is an extra thing that comes from something else. And to understand what that really means, I want you to think about what the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche had to say. Because Nietzsche was completely opposed to utilitarianism. Friedrich Nietzsche said, "Do I strive after happiness? No, I strive after my works. He also said, man, humanity, should not strive after happiness, and happiness is the feeling that power increases, that resistance is being overcome. So what does this mean? This means that happiness is a byproduct. Now, a byproduct of what exactly? Well, it can be a byproduct of many things. But what we show is that what you want to do is strive for self-actualization and the actualization of the collective. So in other words, when Nietzsche said, I don't strive after happiness, I strive after my works, what Nietzsche was saying is that I work on building myself up. I'm not looking for empty happiness. I'm looking to create myself into something marvelous. This is what Nietzsche had the idea of the Übermensch, the superhuman. And that's what Hyperion means, right? Hyperion means higher, over, right? We are higher than human. In Nietzschean terms, the Übermensch, the superhuman. It's about creating yourself into a masterpiece. And what happens is, as you create yourself into something powerful, and not only yourself, right? Because this is where Nietzsche doesn't understand this point, that not only do we have to create our own selves, but we also have to create a healthy community as well that's helping each other to grow. Because community is an incredibly important thing. Because think about, what if you were completely, totally powerful, but you were isolated and alone? You wouldn't be very happy, would you? No, you wouldn't. This feeling of loneliness and isolation happens, and this is not conducive to happiness. So it's about creating yourself and also making sure that there's a community to have this back and forth of helping each other. So what's important is to create yourself into a masterpiece, into a work of art where you are actualizing and expressing the epitome of who you are, of what you are. And happiness is a byproduct of these achievements and these optimizations. Nietzsche said that happiness is power, that resistance is overcome, right? That resistance is overcome. Think about, someone running a marathon and they win and they get first prize. That was fucking hard. So much resistance. They had to train and train. But at the end, she wins. She wins the trophy. And resistance has been overcome. And happiness is a byproduct of that overcoming of resistance. So what's really important to understand, that happiness is not an end. It's not an end unto itself. It's a byproduct. Because if happiness were an end unto itself, everyone just might as well be fucking high 24/7. And think about what a terrible world that would be. If happiness were just an end to itself, it would be a total bland world of people just sort of being continuously pumped with, take it to its omega point, take it to its logical conclusion. It would just be a world of people being pumped with chemicals, inducing the feeling of happiness. What a terrible world that would be. No, that is the opposite of an enlightened world, the opposite of a future progressive world. The world that we want is a world where everyone is becoming who they truly are, and a community that's helping each other achieve that. That is what is truly important. And I want you, again, it's always so helpful to think of life as a video game. So if you think of life as a video game, if you're just looking for meaningless happiness, you're going to, get some happiness, then it's going to go away. You're going to get some happiness, then it's going to go away. You're not accruing anything. You're not gaining anything. But look at life like a video game. What happens when you work on yourself? Well, you level up. You gain experience points. You gain experience points and you level up. And guess what? When you level up, your happiness will go up. It'll drop again, but that is what goads you on to reach the next level and level up again. And your happiness will go up when you reach that next level. Yeah, then it will drop again, but then you go for the next level. But guess what? The experience and levels that you're gaining, you keep them. That's what's so important. When you work on yourself, you are building yourself up. Those levels that you gain, those experience points you gain in this game of life, you keep that. That's yours. And you create yourself into something magnificent. You're always going higher. Again, Hyperion, higher. You're always moving upwards, spiraling towards our trajectory, towards divinity. And even though the happiness might go down, it'll raise when you get to that next level, but you're constantly building yourself up. Now think of someone else who's just looking for happiness, but they're not working on themselves, right? Oh, well, maybe they buy a new couch. Well, their happiness goes up, but it drops. Are they leveling up? No. Well, they go out and, who knows? They buy something else. They have a one-night stand. Sure, the happiness goes up, then it drops. The happiness goes up, then it drops. But they aren't leveling up. They are not. It's just this constant. They aren't going anywhere. Again, it's like a zombie. When you look at happiness as this world looks at it, as an end unto itself, if you take it to its logical conclusion, it would just be a bland, dull world of people just being in pods, being pumped with pleasure. That isn't even happiness. This is now empty pleasure. So happiness is not an end unto itself. Happiness is a byproduct. And what's it a byproduct of? In Hyperianism, it's about creating yourself into something powerful. And this is why it is so important to look at struggle. It's not a bad thing. So many people get depressed. I did a video on how struggle leads to power, which you guys should definitely watch after this. I'll put a link in the comments or up here. But struggle is not something, life is hard. It's tough. I know. But if you look at struggle as a resistance to overcome, if you're in a video game, as dragons to slay, and you realize that every time you overcome, you're leveling up and you're gaining more power as a person and learning and growing, suddenly you change your perspective and struggle doesn't seem like such a bad thing anymore because you understand that it contributes to you, your growth and your power. I'm sure you've heard the quote that says, "What doesn't kill me makes me stronger." That was Friedrich Nietzsche. And that's absolutely true. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So you can actually rejoice in struggle and rejoice in the resistance that are given to you, because when you overcome them, you are being a more powerful, more actualized person. Now, I have a lot more that I want to say about this. There's a lot more to this. Let me say hi to some of you guys for a minute. I want to say hi to everyone in the comments real quick here. And guys, if you are on YouTube, Facebook, go over to YouTube right now. The link is in my description. That's where I'm going to be answering questions and interacting with people. So there's 284 people on Facebook right now. Click the link in the description of this video and go over to YouTube. That's where I'm going to be talking to people. Okay. So let me see. Hello, everyone. So good to see you. Hello, Thomas and Laszlo. Sebastian. Oh, let me say, I see there were some donations. Let me thank you guys real quick. Thank you, Spliz. Spliz says, I'm going to send you some awesome smart home equipment for my new place. Oh, thank you very much. Maggie Scholl, thank you for the donation. And Oof J-Man. And Tamara Sweeney. And Stargazer. And Raven, thank you all so much. And Tamara Sweeney donated $20. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. I can't tell you how much the donations help you guys. And I will do my best to answer your questions too when you for those who do donate. So let me see. Hello, Crystal DeMont. So good to see you. And Jackie Cosmic. Yes, you are on YouTube, Cosmic. Hello, everyone. I'm so glad that you can make it. Laszlo says we are gods. We just have to wake up. Yes, that's very true. Now, it's very important to remember that we are potential gods. We all have the potentiality of becoming gods and goddesses within ourselves as eternal minds. It's up to us to actualize that and make it real and make it happen. So we are all have the potential to become individual gods and goddesses. And together, taken together as the collective, we do form the absolute, which is the universe experiencing itself through each and every one of us as eternal nodes, eternal individual nodes. All right, let me see here. Tamara Sweeney says, step out of our comfort zone. Yes, that's absolutely right. Stepping out of your comfort zone. So I was talking about a lot about overcoming resistance. And there's so much more that I want to talk about this, and I'm going to get to it in just a minute because it's very important. But Tamara says to step outside of your comfort zone, and that's absolutely right. Stepping outside of your comfort zone is the way to growth because, you know, that's where you gain the experience. Again, think of it like a video game. What if you just stayed in your little video game house all day and you never went to the dungeons? You'd never level up. Stepping outside of your comfort zones are what gives you the most experience, the greatest actualization. Oh, White Rabbit donated $2 and said, make the eternity video. Thank you, White Rabbit. And yes, that is a video I mean to do very, very soon. So stepping outside of your comfort zone is so important. And let me explain to you how I did this, how I stepped outside of my comfort zone. For those of you who know me, I am a sword swallower and a performer, in addition to everything else I do. And I was terrified of public speaking when I was young. Terrified, absolutely terrified of public speaking. But I wanted to become a performer. So if I never stepped outside of my comfort zone, nothing would have ever happened. But guess what I did? I was terrified of public speaking. So what did I do? I signed up for public speaking classes. I started doing open mic nights, and I started doing street performances. I was putting myself out there, outside of my comfort zone, every single fucking day. In the case of street performances, I'm being literal every single day. Yeah, I take weekends off and whatnot, but every single day you get out there. And guess what? Now it's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. I had a phobia of hypodermic needles, so I started piercing myself every day to get over that. I don't recommend that you do that. Do not do that. I don't advocate that, so don't. But I am very much attracted to that which induces fear, because that shows your limitations. You know, what you're afraid of, those are your limitations. And once you know what your limitations are, go out and fucking break them. Break through those barriers, break through those limitations. And once you do that, look for the next limitation to break. Look for the next thing to push. All right, let me take a look at some comments here. Thank you very much, Mustang KTM, for the donation. You're awesome. And thank you, AMQ Black Rose, thank you for the donation. And Miss Cthulhu, thank you. You guys are awesome. I can't tell you how much that helps. So AMQ Black Rose says, AMQ Black Rose says, I need to integrate the father archetype into my conscious awareness. How does one go about integrating the archetypes? So this is about kind of straying off topic, but I'll answer it real quick. Archetypes are parts of you that exist in your unconscious. So to say that you want to integrate the father archetype means that you understand that there are attributes generally associated with the father that's in your life that you need to actualize. So with any kind of archetype, what you need to do is first study that archetype, learn all its attributes, and then understand which parts of them are lacking in your life. And then once you understand, so the first thing is to understand what that archetype is. Then identify the attributes that are lacking in your life specifically for you, and then take steps to integrate them, to manifest them. So let's say, for example, you look up the father archetype, and let's say, for argument's sake, one of the examples is dominance. And then maybe you reflect and realize, oh, I need to be more dominating in my life. Maybe I'm, too submissive. So you've discovered an attribute, you've identified it in yourself. Then you need to take the steps to actualize it, and integrate it. And that means that's the hardest part. That means actually practicing and going out and doing it, forcing yourself to do it. The next time you're feeling submissive or something, force yourself. If you're at work, force yourself to ask your boss for that raise, or if you need to be more commanding, make sure that you start delegating to different people and things like that. Okay, let's see here. Thank you very much, Priscilla, for your donation. And Miss Lovely, thank you as well. Miss Lovely, you're awesome. You always send me great messages on Patreon. C. Carr, thank you for the donations. And Robert Tharp donated 35. You're awesome. Thank you. And Robert says, I am learning a lot from your messages. That means a lot. Thank you, guys. I'm glad that I get, look, here's the thing. I get so much hate. Oh, I can't tell you how much hate I get. I get death threats. I get just daily so much hate. And that, generally I can brush it off, but that it can be difficult when it's just getting pounded. I'm just trying to enjoy my day, and a little notifications, will pop up, telling me horrible things. But you guys are what makes it all worth it, because I get so many awesome messages from you guys showing your support, telling you how much you're learning, how much you're understanding, how much my videos help. So many people saying how it's freeing them from religion, how it's helping them understand reality, how it's helping them think more logically, how it's helping them become themselves. And that means so much to me. So you guys are awesome. And I want to say thank you for all the messages that you send me, all the comments that you leave me, telling me things like that. I want you to know how much I appreciate them. I try my best to respond to everybody. I know I can't always do it, but I try my very best to, and it means the world to me. All right, let me take a look here. Guys, real quick, if you are on Facebook, there are 270 people on Facebook. If you support my work, go to the link in the description and join us on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube, because that's where I'm interacting with people, and we're trying to hit our goal of 100,000 subscribers before the end of the year. So again, so many people on Facebook are saying, I support your work. Please show it by going over to YouTube right now. Go, do it. Get off YouTube. Go, link in the description. Click it, subscribe, and join us there. All right. Let me take a look at some of the comments here. Oh, Sangar says you changed my life. That means a lot. All right, let's see here. Just got to take a drink of water. Laszlo wants to Laszlo asks, how am I so pale? Well, two things. One, I do wear makeup. But, I am still extremely pale. As you can see, my hand and my face. I don't go out much. Especially lately, I am working very hard on creating videos. So my sleeping schedule is also that I'm most creative at nights. So when I am awake, it's nighttime. So I don't see the sun very much. I don't try to be pale. It just so happens that I am most creative at night. Therefore, I usually sleep during the days and stay awake and create at night. So if I ever do go out, it's usually nighttime. All right, taking a look at some of the comments here. And guys, also remember, because I'm going to try and answer some of your questions, but they're flying by so fast. Remember that we are having a patrons only, supporters only secret live stream after this. And if you want to be a part of that, you can. The link is in the description to become a supporter on Patreon. So if you become a supporter on Patreon, you'll be able to be a part of the live stream. And if you want to know how to support what I'm doing, that's the best way to do it. The best ways to do it are by, the first best way is supporting on Patreon. That is the best way. You'll be able to be a part of our weekly secret live streams. And then the other way is the donations on here that help very, very much. Okay, let me see here. Oh, Crystal just donated $20. Thank you, Crystal. You're awesome. Crystal's been a very long time supporter of my work and everything that we're doing. That means a lot. Thank you, Crystal. And thank you, Bill. Bill B says, you're an incredible person. Much love, brother. Oh, much love back to you, my friend. John says, can I sample your voice for a psychedelic trance production? Yeah, sure. You know, as long as you're not selling it, sure, yeah. As long as it's done, and you know, as long as you're not making fun of me or something, yeah, you can use a sample for your music. As long as it's not being sold or something. If it is, just shoot me an email so we can discuss it. But yeah, feel free. I always like when people use my samples in their artistic creations and things like this. Just once again, only if it's, you know, if you're making a record or something, or it's being sold, then shoot me a message so we can talk about it. And Braden, thank you so much. Braden says, can't thank you enough for opening my mind. That means a lot. Thanks, Braden. I'm glad you enjoy my work. And yeah, that's why I do what I do. So something that I want you guys to really think about too, and again, if you haven't watched it, I'm going to link in the comments later the video that I did on struggle leading to power. And this plays really well into what we're talking about here about happiness, because so many people are unhappy because life is filled with suffering. And this is where we differ so much from many of the Eastern, New Age, and Buddhist traditions that try to eliminate suffering. We don't want to pull away and try and eliminate suffering. What we want to do is transform suffering into struggle and into power. So we look at suffering and realize, hey, if we just change our perspective, we can realize that suffering isn't suffering, it's a struggle. And when we overcome our struggles, we gain power. And when we gain power, we level up and become closer and closer to our divine selves, our true selves, actualizing our higher selves. So if you think about a block of stone, right? There's a block of stone. And if it's being hit with a hammer and a chisel, that can feel really, really painful, right? So there's there's two ways you can try and block it out and be like, I'm going to try my best not to feel this pain. Or you can embrace it and guide the hammer and chisel until it forms that block into a magnificent statue. So you don't want to try and block it out. You want to change your perspective and guide it. You don't want to pull away from life. You want to throw yourself into the fire, that refining fire, right? In alchemy, they would, they refine, or not even in alchemy, but it's refining the purities of gold by putting it into that heat, into that fire, and it will eliminate the purities. So you want to throw yourself into that, in that metaphorical fire to become stronger, more powerful, and that way you can change your perspective. Once again, guys, if you are on Facebook, there are 250 people on Facebook right now. I want you to go to this link in the description of this video. That's going to give you the link to where I'm live on YouTube right now. Go over there and I'll be able to talk to you and answer your questions. I'm only answering questions here on Facebook or on YouTube, answering questions on YouTube. So go right now, and that's how you can show that you support my work too, because we want to reach that goal of 100,000 subscribers before the end of the year. So go do it right now. I see 240 of you. That means about 10 of you did. Now I want all of you. Oh, good. I see some of you are doing it. Go do it. And once you're on YouTube, leave a YouTube comment. Tell me that you did. Okay, let me take over. Hello, New Level Fitness. Welcome to YouTube. So Imaginista, who is an awesome supporter, by the way, she's been with us for a very long time. And she was at our first Hyperion event, which I have video of. You can see that video on my channel. Imaginista says, I like to motivate myself through struggle by imagining myself in full battle gear, yelling challenge with my fist up at myself and life. I love that. That's fucking cool. You are a badass. That's what it's about, right? When life throws you challenges, don't run away. Don't try and block it out. Don't go, oh my God, life is full of suffering. I just wish it would end. No, put on your armor, put on your battle gear. As you said, put your fist up, see it as a challenge and take it on. That's awesome. You're badass. And that is the way to face life. And that's how you're going to level up and become closer and closer to actualizing your true self, your higher self. Kimberly is here from Facebook. Yay, you made it. Oh, Kimberly's facing a loss in her life. Her father passed away. I'm very sorry to hear that. One thing to really keep in mind, again, this has to do with the toxic culture we live in. I'm very sorry for your loss, but remember, this culture looks at death in a very negative way. In the Egyptian culture, they would celebrate death because they looked at it as a transition. So, I know it's a very difficult thing because you won't be experiencing him in this life anymore. But remember that it's just a transition and that we will all be, reunited in the end. Not in like the sort of religious Christian way that we're all going to be in white robes and whatnot, but in that we are all eternal minds and part of the system together, and that we are all united as the absolute. And so it's important to remember that death is just a transitory phase, just like sleep is a transition between days. Death is just a transition between lifetimes. So, I know it can be a terrible thing, but just try and remember that culture has a very negative aspect of how death is, and it looks at it as an end. It's not an end, it's just a transition. Okay. Oh, thank you for the donation, Bill B. Bill donated $10 and said, "You open our lives up. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, brother." Oh, that means a lot, my friend. Thank you. Thank you for the donation, and it really touches me when you guys are. See, I get so when I do my regular videos, I know I can come across as sort of harsh and angry, and that's because the world is fucked up. But I really do have a lot of love and compassion for you guys. Right? When I come across as angry and whatnot, that's at the fucked up world. It's not how I am by default. It's because we're involved in the war of the mind. So sometimes you have to, be prepared for battle in this war of the mind. But you guys are awesome. And seriously, I love you guys. And you are helping us build a new world. And that means the most to me. And so many people, are surprised. They go, "Oh man, when you're live, you're so much nicer than I thought you would be." And I guess that's kind of funny. But I am, I'm not. I am nice to the. See, that's the whole thing. I'm nice to those who deserve to be nice. I'm not unconditionally nice. I'm not going to be nice to a Nazi or a racist or a homophobe. No, they're terrible people and they deserve what they get. But I'm going to be nice to I'm going to be loving to those who are loving. And I'm going to be accepting to those who are accepting. Because that's what it's all about. We want to build a better world. We want to build a healthy world. And we want to build a beautiful new world full of that compassion. We don't want this, aggressive, hostile world. That's what we're fighting against. But yeah, I love hanging out with you guys. You guys are why I do this. And you who are on Facebook, go to YouTube. Do it. Right now. The link is in the description of this video. Go do it. Get over there and subscribe. If you aren't subscribed yet, guys, please hit the subscribe button. Did I say the describe button? No, do not. No, hit the subscribe button and help us reach our goal. Also, if you haven't hit the notification bell, turn it on, because I want to tell you how the algorithms work. The algorithms work in two ways. Either my videos get spread by you guys being notified because you turned the notifications on, or it being shared, or the algorithms point you to my videos. The algorithms don't like pointing people to my videos because my videos are controversial. So I lose, whoa, I'm giving people the middle finger here. That was unintentional. I lose a big chunk of exposure because of how the algorithms are set up. But I also gain exposure because you guys are awesome and you share my videos and you turn on notifications. That's how we're able to spread. So turn on the bell. That helps a lot when you guys do that. Okay, let me take a look at some comments here. Oh, Dom says, what goal? Our current goal is to reach 100,000 subscribers before the end of the year. Thank you, Lynn. I'm glad you enjoy my videos. Ah, Brooke Wood said you are nice to those on the third island, correct? Yes, yes, Brooke, I am nice to those those of you who are on the third island. If that's another video, she's referencing a video of mine called "Why Loving Everyone Doesn't Work," and if you haven't seen that yet, make sure you check it out, and you'll know what they're talking about by the third island. I'm glad you love my work, Jen. That means a lot. Andrea from Missouri, hello. Oh, Christy says, I finally signed up on Patreon. Thank you so much for your support, Christy. That means a lot to me. Can't tell you. That's the number one way how to help. That helps so much. I can't tell you how much that helps. So you're going to be able to be a part of our secret live stream. So awesome. Make sure you get the link so you can be a part of our secret live stream after this. Hold on. There's so many comments. The comments fly by so quick that I'm trying to read one of them to answer, and it just bumps up. So bear with me. At you Facebook people, go to YouTube. Link is in the description. I see comments here. I want to answer your questions, but go to YouTube so I can see them. Okay, Anthony says, love your work. Thank you. C0 said the island video snapped me out of my naivete. That's a very important video that I did. I'll have to link to that one as well. Okay. Akismosification. I don't know what your name is, but they say new here. What is your message for a newbie? I'm going to say it real quick because, I'm sure people have heard this so much, but basically what we're about creating a new humanity and a new earth while being guided by logic and reason. So we want to create a new humanity. We want to create a new earth. We want to increase our individual power and the power of the collective, all while guided by logic and reason. We understand that this is not a physical reality, but a mathematical reality, a shared dream that we all exist in together, and that we are all on this journey together, spiraling towards divinity. And we want to create a new world where we're building each other up instead of tearing each other down to help each other achieve our goals and our collective goals. And that's something that's super important. Oh, by the way, guys, make sure you hit that like button. Can I hit the like button? No, I cannot like myself. Oh, but you guys can like me. So please like me, and that'll do something. So do that. Okay, so this is also something that I want to talk about because this has to do with our topic of happiness. We want to create a world also that is about the collective, right? So I'm talking about how happiness is about becoming self-actualized. That happiness is a byproduct of self-actualization because you will gain your experiences and level up, and your happiness levels will rise and fall and all that. But we also want to create a collective and a community that's helping each other do so. Because imagine what a terrible, terrible world it would be if we were all just out for ourselves. If we were all just out for ourselves, this would not be a very happy world. It would be a vicious, cutthroat, terrible world. So, a big part of feeling content and happiness, I don't want to say content, but a big part of life is about building community. Because if you're isolated, it's a terrible, terrible thing to have that isolation. That's why we are working on building a Hyperion community to counter this toxic culture that is a negative community. It's a community, but it's a negative, toxic community. So the Hyperion culture is a positive community, and that's one of our huge goals, is to increase this community, build it all over the world, create connections all over the world, so that we will be able to start building each other up and actualizing our vision for the future right here, right now. This is it, guys. This is the future. This is happening now. So I want you to get excited about that and realize that you are part of history in the making. You are a part of that. And that's what's super exciting about this. So yeah, you can start right now. Start, reaching out to people in your area. Start meetups, start gatherings. Start doing that right now, looking for people in your area and starting those meetups all around the world. That's something that you can do right now. You're awesome, Bill. Thank you. Just looking at some of the comments. Now that we're on the topic of happiness, I want to talk about love a little bit, because that's another thing too, is that people always think that they're going to find happiness in another person. But that's not the case. If you are not happy with yourself as a person by self-actualizing, someone else isn't going to satisfy you. It's again going to be that the happiness levels of rising and falling. You might be happy for a little while, but it's not going to last. So can another person make you happy? Yes, they can, but it's not going to last. You need to cultivate a powerful relationship or relationships. So when you have a partner or partners or community, because it's all, whether you're monogamous or polyamorous or collectivist, in either way, right? Just like you need to work on yourself and build yourself up and level it up, you need to level up your relationships too, whether it's your partner, partners, or collective. You need to level that up and work on helping each other grow and become. Because because you need to look at your interactions with others in the same way as you look at building yourself up. You want to be building yourself up, because if you didn't, it's just empty. And in your relationship, you want to make sure that there is a symbiosis happening where you're helping each other grow and build up, and that partnership is leveling up as well. And that is the way to having lasting meaning and purpose. That's the thing, it's about having meaning and purpose. And so mathematically speaking, this is all about gaining symmetry, right? So as we know, reality is the mathematical reality. And so we're constantly optimizing and growing and gaining in symmetry. And the more symmetry we gain, this is the more unity that we attain, and happiness is a byproduct of this achievement of symmetry. Nietzsche was very much about, it's about power. But what is power really? Like, what is that? So many people will have different definitions of what power is. Power in itself has to be defined correctly, because just pure power isn't happiness. So you have to know what power means. You can't be like, just because you're, let's say, Elon Musk and you have a lot of power. That's not the type of power we're talking about. All right. So we are defining power as directed self-optimization towards actualizing your higher self. In mathematical times, this is gaining symmetry. That's how it's defined mathematically speaking. As we optimize our internal frequency patterns, the more harmonious. See, an increase in symmetry means an increase in harmony. So as we create a more unified world, a more symmetrical world, so to speak, this means a more harmonized world, a world that's working together. It's like a body that's functioning well. Oh, thank you so much. The Brutal Pope Chaos donated $10. That's a fantastic name, by the way. The Brutal Pope Chaos. Yes, this is very metal, and I like it. It reminds me of the band Ghost. Thank you for your contribution. I appreciate it. So let me take a look at some of these comments here, guys. Remember, if you are on Facebook, go over to YouTube right now. The link is in the description. So right now, go over to YouTube. It's a lot happier place. There's lots of trolls over on Facebook. Make sure I see some of you guys who are on Facebook that really need to be on YouTube. We're going to stop doing lives on Facebook very soon, so make sure you go over there. Okay, let me take a look over here. Taking a look at some of the comments here. Again, they're going by so fast. Remy says, what's the point of perfect symmetry when we come from it? I'm not 100% sure what you mean, so if you could perhaps elaborate on your question, I'll do my best to answer it. Yeah, so here's something that I want to point out, because I get this so much. Someone said, are you aware that your explanations are already told on in a Brazilian religion, something that I can't pronounce. So I get this a lot. People go, oh, everything you're saying, it's just Gnosticism. Everything you're saying, it's just Hermeticism. Everything you're saying, it's just blah, blah, blah. And, insert thought system here. And guys, look, I want to tell you, if you think that's the case, you have not studied our system at all. Our system is based on ontological mathematics. We have the source formula. We have deductive proofs. We can define mathematically what the mind is. We can show how the mental source domain mathematically projects the Fourier space-time domain through Fourier mathematics, through Fourier transforms. We can solve the biggest problems in quantum mechanics. We can solve the problems of relativity by showing that there is an absolute reference frame, and that absolute reference frame is the domain of mind. Like, if you guys say, oh, all you're doing is talking about blah, 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 you have to do our system. I'm sorry. And this is just frustrating to me, because, guys, it's fine if you want to learn and understand our system, but don't come in and try to tell us, what it is when you haven't researched it or studied it yourself. So if you have questions or whatnot, that's awesome, and please ask them. I want to answer them, and I want to help you understand. But if you haven't looked into any of the material, if you haven't read any of the books, don't come in and say, oh, everything you're saying, it's just this. And I already know it. Because that's rude, okay? It's rude. Don't be rude. Stop it. Okay. So taking a look at some of the comments here. Someone's saying that mathematics is not perfect. Mathematics is perfect. That's sort of the definition of, look, mathematics is perfect. 2 + 2 = 4, and it will always equal 4. It's not going, that is a truth of existence. It's an eternal, necessary truth. It cannot be false. It's impossible for it to be false, all right? You can't falsify 2 + 2 = 4. And I'm not just saying this. I'm not just pulling this out of my ass, like saying, oh, in my opinion, it can't be falsified. No, it literally can't be falsified. If you look this up, you'll see that mathematics is literally, by definition, unfalsifiable. It's eternal and necessary. So, by definition, mathematics is eternally true and perfect. So, yeah, keep that in mind. Then again, that's not my opinion. You can look. It's by definition unfalsifiable. All right. Taking a look. Yes, Committee U says math is eternal, perfect, and absolute. Very, very true. Someone says it's not mathematics, it's not perfect, it's often the operator that's imperfect. Yeah, that's very true. Someone can make a mathematical mistake. Someone can say 2 + 2 = 5. That's not true. That's not a true statement. That is someone making a miscalculation. So yes, miscalculations can occur. Absolutely. But that's not mathematics. That is which is not mathematics. It's wrong. It's wrong, so it's not a part of math. It's incorrect. So yes, very good point. Oh, okay. So Christy Graham donated $4.99. Thank you so much, Christy. You're awesome. And Christy asks, I'll do my best to answer your questions because they fly by so much. So if you donate, I'll do my best to answer your questions. Christy asks, would you please explain what death is and why we should not fear it? Thank you. Yes. Okay. So here, let me try and explain this as quickly as possible. So I'm not sure how much you know about Hyperianism, but essentially we are all individual units of mathematical energy. To be mathematically precise, these are Fourier systems of sinusoidal waveforms, sines and cosines. But let me try to make this as concise as possible. We are all eternal minds. And we link to a body to explore the material world that we call the holos. And when we explore the world, we are looking to, we're gaining experience. As we learn and experience and read and gain education and interact with people, we're evolving. And as we evolve, what this happens is it optimizes the frequency patterns of us as eternal minds. So when we die, it's just the breakdown of our avatar. Our bodies are just avatars. The mind is eternal. Now, why is the mind eternal? Because the mind is a mathematical object. And we were just talking about how math is eternal and necessary. The mind, what we truly are, the code of the universe, the code of this mathematical dream that we exist in is eternal. And we ourselves as mathematical eternal minds are eternal. We can never die. So our bodies, which are just particular arrangements, contingent arrangements, not necessary and eternal arrangements, but contingent arrangements, they can break down and be redistributed as energy. So the body will break down. But what we truly are as eternal minds is eternal. And so what we do is we are minds and we link to these bodies to grow, learn, and explore. And as we do so, the frequency patterns of us as minds evolve and grow and become more symmetrical, more optimized. So when we die, it's simply a transition from one bodily incarnation into an avatar to another. So when we die, we are simply thrown into a realm that we call the death current, that's very, very similar to a dream space. Your dreams are sort of a glimpse, a preview of kind of what death is like. And we get swept along the death current, which is a dreamlike sort of experience, and get reinserted into this holos, into another avatar where we can learn, grow, and continue to evolve. So death is nothing to fear. It's something that we are constantly experiencing. You've died countless times before. You've died countless times before. It's nothing to be afraid of. Just like you shouldn't fear sleep. Sleep is nothing to be afraid of. It's just a transition from everything. Everything occurs in cycles. So I hope that answers your question. If you want to know more, watch the Hyperion movie. The link to that is in my playlist on my channel. And it talks a lot about death and the death current and everything I just explained, but in a lot more detail. So if you're interested in that, watch the Hyperion movie on my channel. Thanks again for your donation. You're awesome. So Thomas Foster said reincarnation is a mathematical certainty. Yeah. So when we talk about reincarnation, I much prefer like reinsertion or reintegration, because reincarnation is one of those words that has been sullied by sorry, I get distracted, but when comments are flying by. Reincarnation is one of those words that has been sullied by religion. Right? Just like the word soul and God. These are words that have all been sort of dirtied by religion. So I much prefer reinsertion or reintegration, Because reincarnation has nothing to do with karma or being a good person or morality or anything like that. This process of what you might call reincarnation is a mathematical certainty because we are eternal. There's no way that we can perish. Just like 2 + 2 must always equal 4, we can never fade away from existence. Mathematically speaking, the reason why this is because we are equal to 0, and 0 can never be destroyed. 0 is eternal. It's equivalent to nothingness. And we must always exist. Our existence is mandatory. And for you guys who are on Facebook, make sure you go over to YouTube right now. That's where I'm seeing a lot of people asking questions on Facebook. I'm answering questions on YouTube. I'm not answering questions on Facebook. So make sure the link is in the description of this video. Click the link, go over to YouTube, join us there, subscribe. That's where I'll answer your questions. So go right now. And if you support my work, help us reach our goal of 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. So if you support, all these people are saying, yeah, I support your work. Go, show me that you do by just, all you got to do is hit one link and subscribe. And that's how you can support and help us move forward. Okay. Thank you so much for the donation, Practical Paganism, and Rotting Doll. Thank you so much. Rotting Doll says, I hope to be back on Patreon very soon. Awesome. I hope you can too. I love seeing you on there. And so Practical Pagan Wisdom says, okay, how do you explain? So this is her question. I'm going to answer this one really quick because this one's so easy to misunderstand. But how do you explain being able to receive and translate messages from dead loved ones? And why is it so few of us are able to do this? Okay, so now, first of all, I want to say there are a lot of charlatans out there. So always be very, very, very careful of anyone who claims that they can talk to the dead or something like that. Be careful, be skeptical. There are so many bullshitters out there. There are. Now, is it possible? Yes, it is possible, because guess what? We are all connected through the domain of mind. So it is possible to have an unconscious, say, communication. Just be aware that it is extremely hard to tell what is real, what is not real, what is, simply a figment of your unconscious, what might be a veridical experience. It's really hard to tell. Because, think of it, because this has to do with your intuition and the unconscious. So think about when you're dreaming. When you're dreaming, you might be having an experience of a past life. But guess what? When you dream, it's really, really muddy, right? Maybe it's an experience of your past life, but there also might be a dragon in the corner and something else happening. It's all mixed in together. So, think about when you just have a regular old dream. You're in the realm of your unconscious, and you're having dreams very often of things that happen to you. But when is it ever perfect? Do you ever have a dream of a perfect memory that you've had? No. You probably never have a dream of something that happened in the exact way that it did. It's always like a mishmash of things. So your unconscious, the reason and especially when you're connected to the collective unconscious, you are pulling from such a vast pool of information. If you're in the deepest level of the universal unconscious, you are literally pulling from the information of the universe itself. So guess what? It's going to be really hard to tell what coheres, what goes together, what's true, what's not true. So some of it might even be probabilities. You might be getting intuitions of maybe things that haven't even happened, that aren't even a mishmash, but probabilities of things that could happen. There is just so much information that it's really, really hard to tell what's genuine and what isn't. Now, it's not to say that it's impossible, but just keep in mind of the great difficulty that lies when you are, sort of plugged in to the information of the universe itself. Laszlo says, I often don't dream anymore. Do you know why this could be? Oh, Karina donated $4. Thank you, Karina. Karina is an awesome supporter. Karina has been with us for a very long time. And they were at our last patrons, not patrons, our last Hyperion meetup, our New Terra event. They traveled all the way from New York to be there. I was so happy I was able to meet them. And she's amazing. So thank you, Karina. So good to see you, by the way. Okay. Oh, yeah. So Laszlo was asking why you don't dream anymore. If you want to increase your dreams, what you absolutely should do is start a dream journal and record the dreams that you do have every single day. Even if you don't dream, record in it every single day. Write down in your dream journal, I didn't remember my dreams today. I will remember my dreams. And whenever you do remember, write them down. I guarantee you that if you do this, you will start having dreams again. You will have them more often, and they will increase in their vividness and meaning. This is, look, when you really start to do this, sometimes I have to take a break, because when you do it, sometimes it's almost exhausting because your dreams are so vivid that it's, you almost wake up being like, holy shit, I'm tired because I just went through such an insane experience. So it's incredibly exciting when you have these vivid dreams and you start having lucid dreams, the worlds that you can explore, the things that you can do, the amount of information that you can learn about yourself is incredible. It's very, very cool. So again, guarantee you that by having a dream journal, they will increase. Oh, guys, I want to tell you as well. Next week is Valentine's Day. There is a very good possibility. So look, I always do my lives at 4 p.m. Pacific time every Thursday. So if you're wondering, it's 4 p.m. Pacific time every Thursday is when I do my lives. However, I believe it's Friday that is Valentine's Day. And I might go live instead. I might go live instead on Valentine's Day, because I like hanging out with you guys on holidays. So I might go live instead on Valentine's Day and do a special Valentine's live. Valentine's with Morgue. Yay. I'm not sure yet, but I might. So keep that in mind. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe right now so that you'll know when that happens. And you will be notified. But keep that in mind. That might be a thing that's happening. I just want to let you guys know so that you can be there. Rowan James donated $5 Canadian. I don't know what that is American, but thank you, my friend. And Rowan James says, e to the I pi plus 1 equals 0, which is Euler's identity, which has been called the most beautiful equation in all of mathematics, the most beautiful expression in all of mathematics. It combines the most important numbers, E, I, the imaginary unit, 1, real unit, pi, which I don't have to tell you why pi is amazing. It describes a perfect circle. I believe was Richard Feynman who called this equation R joule, a very important equation, and which is determined by the source formula. We show that the source formula is the answer to all existence. It is the formula that describes all of reality and your mind, and that is where that equation comes from. Oh, that's nice. Rotting Doll 13 donated $5 and said, on behalf of all those who can't donate. That's so nice of you. Thank you. And Fruity Soul donated $5 as well. Thank you. And Fruity Soul, what a tasty soul. I will devour your soul and enjoy its delicious fruitiness. Fruity Soul says, I am interested in understanding your logic because I deal with things that are not normal and I wish to figure out more with your help. Well, I think that a lot of people can relate to that because this world will often tell you what you're experiencing can most likely be defined and understood through our system, logically, rationally, and mathematically, because this world is very alienated for those who think differently. And we do think differently. We are a new paradigm. So thank you, my friend. Continue to look into my work and the work that we're doing, the work of ontological mathematics, the work of Hyperianism, and I'm sure that you will find what you are looking for. Ashley Owen says, is that the same as the soul equation? Yes. So we call it the source formula. It's also been called the soul equation. It's also been called the God formula. So the source formula, the soul equation, and the God formula, they're all the same formula. E to the I x equals cosine x plus I sine x is the simplified version of that formula. The generalized version is a little more complicated, but yes, that is the formula that we are referring to. So Kimberly says, on the topic of dreams, how can I stop dreaming about my dad? Because her dad passed away. Now, this is something that, so this is what this is what Carl Jung said. Carl Jung was a Swiss psychiatrist, and he's the one who brought the idea of archetypes to psychology. He's the one that brought the idea of the collective unconscious forward. He did an enormous work on dreams. A very, very intelligent person. You probably already know who this is. So this is what Carl Jung would say. Carl Jung would say that reoccurring dreams point towards something that you need to resolve. So the fact that you're having a recurring dream, dreams are always pushing you towards something that needs to be fixed. They're drawing your attention towards something. They're being like, hey, look at this. So there are two things that could possibly be happening. Either your father doesn't actually represent your father, and it actually represents the fatherly side of you. And what this might mean is that you need to, whatever your father was providing for you, you need to learn to integrate and provide for yourself, right? If he was providing something, some kind of support, some kind of whatever may have you, it may be that you need to supply that for yourself now, or it may be that you need to come to terms and have a, change your outlook on death so that you can have peace with his passing. So again, I can't tell you what the meanings are, but those would be my, all I can tell you is that it means that there is there is some kind of conflict that needs to be resolved. That's why you're having recurring dreams. And just from what you are telling me, my suggestion would be one of those two things. Either it's something that your father was, an aspect of your father that you need to make a part of yourself, or you need to come to terms with his death by possibly having a different outlook on death. And how we were discussing earlier, how death isn't a negative thing. Great question. Great question. Let me take a look here. Oh, Lana Rose donated $5 and said, feeling great to be here. Love the knowledge. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, here we are. I'm going to have to go very, very soon. My makeup is getting over here. Oh, Crystal Dumont. Hi, Crystal. Crystal's awesome. You've donated. Oh, you're awesome. Crystal Dumont donated $6.66. 666. Thank you, Crystal. So I'm gonna have to go here, but we're gonna have a patrons only, supporters only secret live stream. So if you want to be a part of that, you can. The link to become a supporter is in the description of this video. So if you want to be a part of that, just become a supporter by looking at the link in the description of this video, going to my Patreon, signing up, and you will become a supporter, and you will get a link to the secret live stream, and you can be a part of that. We're doing in just a few minutes. I can't tell you how much that helps, and we're going to do that in just a moment. But guys, I want to tell you how awesome it is always to hang out here with you. And I know that this world can be very, very difficult. And our topic today on happiness is a really important one to understand, that happiness is not an end in itself. It is a byproduct of creating yourself into something magnificent and creating a magnificent collective and community where we're building each other up. So by increasing and leveling up yourself, and by increasing and leveling up your partnerships and relationships, and by increasing and leveling up this community and collective that we're building right here and right now, the byproduct of happiness will result from that. And it will continuously push us to become better, create a better world, and create a better earth, a new world, a new earth. That's why we say, hail, new terra, a new world. And so we offer meaning, we offer purpose and satisfaction. So again, don't come to us, don't come to me, don't come to this system looking for empty, banal, vacuous happiness. But come to us if you are looking for meaning and purpose, and you want to help us create a new world, and you want to help us create a system where we are actualizing ourselves in a beautiful world where we are all expressed individuals working together as a powerful collective and creating real, meaningful experiences, then that is where you should be. So join us in helping us create that world. So always so good to see you here, my friends. Make sure you are subscribed if you aren't already. I'm going to put links in the descriptions of all the videos that I talked about here today. And for supporters, I'll see you in the secret live stream. Awesome to see you. My name is Morgue, and I am Hyperion. Hail, New Terra.